Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to end the sequel trilogy and the entire Skywalker saga itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about this movie is that we do know that J.J. Abrams is taking both characters, Kylo Ren and Rey, in a totally different direction in comparison to how they were used in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And to me, I think that's one great thing about this movie, is that they are really trying to evolve these characters to where we are looking at them in a different way, since this movie is based roughly 1 year after the events of Episode 8. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to various concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of both Rey and Kylo Ren, where it's described that they are both chasing each other on the battlefield of the First Order headquarters. It's described that Rey manages to hijack a speeder that belongs to one of the Knights of Ren, where she takes off and attempts to escape from Kylo. It said that this is when Kylo also takes control of his own personal speeder and goes after Rey. It's said to be a direct parallel to the Endor speeder chase. However, in this sequence, Kylo and Rey are dodging large boulders, where Kylo is calling in some of his TIE fighter pilots to bomb the upcoming bridge. It said that a new TIE design makes a bombing run, destroying the middle of the bridge, where Rey is said to accelerate her speeder and clear the bridge, where Kylo attempts to do the same successfully. However, it said that once Rey clears the bridge, she is approaching a boulder and jumps off of the speeder as it crashes. It's described that this is when their lightsaber duel resumes, where Kylo fights Rey with his helmet on. It's described that prequel trilogy choreography was used for their lightsaber duel in this specific sequence. So I really want to go over quite a number of pieces about all of this. Now, this all takes place within the third act of the movie, within the final minutes of the film, within their lightsaber duel itself. So what's really exciting about this is that we do know that J.J. Abrams is really trying to create a lot of different parallels from, of course, Return of the Jedi in Episode 9, and really incorporating those parallels into a lightsaber duel, into something that we have never seen before on the big screen. So one thing that I do want to go over is the fact that Rey actually hijacks one of the Knights of Ren's speeders. Now, in case you guys did not know, the Knights of Ren do have speeders in Star Wars Episode 9. It kind of reminds me of the Cloud Rider gang in Solo: A Star Wars Story. We do know that the Cloud Riders had those swoop bikes, but in this scenario they have the regular speeder bikes. Now, what's really interesting about this, though, is that throughout the Star Wars franchise, both in the prequels and in the originals, we have had some speeder chase sequences and stuff around those lines, whatever have you. And now J.J. Abrams is bringing that back to the table in the sequel trilogy. He is bringing this back in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. In fact, originally in The Force Awakens, it was a deleted scene. There was a speeder chase between both Rey and Finn, as well as some First Order stormtroopers. And I think that would have been a great scene to keep in the final cut of the movie, but I digress. What's really interesting about all of this, though, is that there is a sequence in which Kylo calls in new types of TIE fighter designs that really make a bombing run on the upcoming bridge that Rey eventually clears, as well as Kylo Ren. Now, Rey eventually crashes her speeder into a boulder. She jumps off before it crashes, of course, giving us yet another parallel to what Leia did in Return of the Jedi, where she jumps off and it crashes into a tree. So you can really see what JJ is trying to do in order to mimic Return of the Jedi, but at the same exact time, he's not trying to directly copy it. In my opinion, copying it would be if this speeder chase took place in a foresty world where Kylo and Rey were like chasing each other in the woods, right? That would be a direct copy. But now you can really see how the parallels are really taking place and how they all tie directly in to their lightsaber duel. Now, it's described that this speeder chase actually is pretty much a pause, right? A little gap in between their lightsaber duel, where once Rey's speeder crashes into the boulder and Kylo Ren makes the jump and clears that gap within the bridge, that's when their lightsaber duel resumes. So, one other thing that I do want to touch on is that it's described that prequel trilogy choreography was used for their lightsaber duel in this specific sequence, in which the saber duel resumes from the previous one that was taking place on the battlefield. So, like I say, guys, this screams action. It really sounds like that J.J. Abrams is doing non-stop action in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, especially when it comes to the scenes between both Kylo Ren and Rey, and exactly what he's aiming to do with this movie in order to truly make it an action-packed film that's going to stand on its own away from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, which honestly I think is great. I think that when we look at Episode 9, there's a lot of potential, coming out of this movie when it all comes down to the characters of Kylo and Rey. So, that whole entire sequence between the speeder chase and the lightsaber duel between both Kylo Ren and Rey, having a lot of prequel trilogy choreography, I think is fantastic. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.